Hello students, welcome to Legacy as Academy. Today in the series of Water Politics of India and River Dispute, we are going to discuss and understand about the core of Godavari River Dispute, a dispute that has been going on for several decades, a dispute which is of both political as well as legal in nature, and also the dispute and its resolution is going to impact millions of lives across several states of India, people who are dependent on the river for drinking purposes, industries which are dependent on the river, and also largely from the farming and agriculture perspective. Godavari, as you know, is the longest and largest peninsular river of India and the one sharing disputes with no rule book at all. There is no proper water sharing agreement that exists on Godavari as it exists on the rivers such as Krishna and Kaveri. Here, the states that are direct stakeholder in this dispute are Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and the upper basin states of Odisha and Chhattisgarh. Now, let us try to understand that largely the dispute that seems to be taking shape between the states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, why the two states are fighting over the water. Before, let us try to understand some basic facts about the river. So, river, as we have seen, is the longest peninsular river of India, second longest river of entire India, flowing over a length or distance of 1,465 km. The river basically in the recent development, the government of Andhra Pradesh has planned to divert roughly 200 TMC, trillion metric cube of flood water that Andhra Pradesh government says toward the Krishna basin further in the south. Formal AP Telangana sharing agreement here is non-existent. That is the thing that makes it very different from the other rivers such as Kaveri River and Krishna River. Andhra Pradesh want to divert, as we have seen, the Godavari flood water to drought-prone area, the drought-prone area of Rayalaseema region. In the south, we'll try to understand that on the map as well. And outside the basin, Godavari basin basically, Telangana, Odisha and Chhattisgarh, all of these three states have objected to this particular proposal or project of the Andhra Pradesh government. As far as the role of central government is concerned, they have created a stop work order. That means no work should be commenced, and this entire stop work order itself has been put in the state of abeyance, in the state of suspension, and through repeated extension, the most recent extension was given till 2nd July 2026. We have seen this stop work order has been suspended. That's why work is continuing as far as this particular diversion project is concerned. In this entire debate, the biggest question, the core question that comes into mind is that can a state reroute a shared river's floodwater without the consent of other basin states? The state that is trying to divert the water is Andhra Pradesh. Other basin states are states such as Chhattisgarh, Odisha and the Telangana largely. Now, let us try to also understand the map, the flow of Godavari River. So, Godavari River originates from the Nasik district of Maharashtra, somewhere in the Western Ghat, from the place called as Trambak Hill, also sometimes called as Trambakeshwar. So, from Trambak or Trambakeshwar in the Western Ghat of Maharashtra in the Nashik, Godavari flows in the eastward direction. While flowing through its course, it receives several tributaries along the left bank. The major tributaries that river receives along the left bank are Purna River, then three major rivers, Penganga, Vardha, Vainganga, which join together to form Pranhita, the largest tributary of Godavari. Then it receives Indravati River along the left bank, Sabri and Saleri River further flowing in the east. Similarly, on the right bank side, river receives the longest tributary by the name of Manjira, and then the Manar River further to the east as such. Then near the Rajamundari, it starts to form a large extensive delta, and forming a lobate shaped delta, it then drains out in the Bay of Bengal. And the two major channels of Godavari you would find here are Gautami Godavari and the Vasisht Godavari in the north and south respectively. Now, the river is very long river passing through entire west to east stretch of India. That's why four major states we can say are the riparian states with interest in this river. First is Maharashtra, which can be considered as the upper riparian state where the river's origin point is located. Then Telangana is the middle riparian region where Bhadrachalam area, Pranhita, Godavari stretch lies in this particular state. Similarly, the Andhra Pradesh, that is further to the south, can be considered as a lower riparian state where deltaic region of Godavari lie. Polavaram project is also located in this region itself. And as far as the Odisha and Chhattisgarh are concerned, the river directly does not flow through them, but they are affected by the Polavaram submergence, and diversion impact could be seen on these rivers as well. That's why they also have some interest on the in the Godavari dispute as such. Now, let us try to understand that how did Godavari dispute began. So, we know that we know 1969, Godavari Water Dispute Tribunal was constituted to ensure that proper sharing framework can be arranged as far as the water of Godavari River is concerned. In 1980, GWDT came up with the first award. It largely approved the existing interstate agreements and did not provide any one united formula. Then major development happened in 2014. We know that Andhra Pradesh then bifurcated into two states. Telangana was created as a new state, and the Khammam area, the mandals of Khammam area were transferred to Andhra Pradesh for the Polavaram submersion. This is also a point of consensus because Telangana says that we already have sacrificed several mandals of Khammam region for the Polavaram project, and now the diversion of water is going to be unjust for them. Then 2020, Apex Council was created, where you have the membership from the Chief Ministers of Telangana, Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, as well as the Union Jal Shakti Minister. They discussed to creating a dedicated another tribunal that would award the Godavari water. Andhra Pradesh in 2025, most recently, it advanced Godavari Banaka Charla link, and Telangana announced that this link is unacceptable as it directly competes with the interest of the people of Telangana, and if it is required, it would even go physically to the Supreme Court and would challenge this project as such. Most recently in 2026, the stop work order was passed, but it has been kept in abeyance, in suspension as we have seen, and also Center has formed a high-level technical committee to look into this entire matter. 2025 flashpoint is the biggest flashpoint because Telangana CM announced a Supreme Court challenge and a resolution where he has stated that unanimous resolution to be passed in the Telangana State Assembly against the Godavari Banaka Cherla link with Odisha and Chhattisgarh also are now joining hands with the state government of Telangana. They also have objected to this entire project as such. Now, before understanding the geography of this entire project, that why Telangana does not want this project to take shape, we also have to briefly understand the legal architecture that governs the water policy or river sharing policies of India. So, first of all, you know that there are two entries. One is entry 17, other is entry 56, referring to the state list and the union list. Water, as such, when you talk about single-handed separately, it is a state subject. So that's why it is in the state list. Every state government has the power to legislate or form rules to govern the water. But whenever we talk about interstate rivers, whenever it is passing through multiple states, then it falls under the union list, which is obvious and which is understandable. And the same constitutional basis as every interstate river dispute governs Godavari dispute as well. Now we know that Article 262 of the Constitution of India, and based on that, in 1956 we have created an act. It empowers the parliament to provide for adjudication of interstate river dispute, and that is the power through which Godavari Tribunal has been empowered as such. Now, it is very interesting to note that Supreme Court is not allowed to have any kind of, we can say, adjudication right as far as the interstate river dispute is concerned. But what Supreme Court can do under Article 136 is to ensure that the award given by the tribunal is properly implemented, and also to look into the other legal intricacies of the matter. Now, Godavari Water Dispute Tribunal, as we have seen, was created in 1969, and it till 1980 it looked into the matter and then began to give the award. But unlike Kaveri and Krishna, its award largely approved pre-existing bilateral agreement rather than one unified basin-wide formula. Like in the last class we have discussed, when we talk about the Krishna River, there is a clear arrangement where 66% of the water from the Sri Salam Reservoir, Nagarjuna Sagar project and all would go to Andhra Pradesh, 34% would be going to the Telangana as such. No such formula exists as far as the river Godavari is concerned, that makes resolving this dispute much more challenging than other river. Now, Ministry of Environment, Forest, Climate Change and the Central Water Commission, they also have to review the particular project that Andhra Pradesh government is trying to implement, because when you talk about the Banka Cherla move, it basically moves water out of the Godavari basin. It separately triggers environmental and inter-basin transfer scrutiny. It is not simply diversion of water in the same area, it is the inter-basin transfer of the water. And that's why these organizations also have to give clearances and give approval, which still has not been received by the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, as far as the gap is concerned, we have seen that there is no sharing agreement that exists between both of the states. Like Krishna sharing runs on a working arrangement pending KWDT's award. For the Godavari, government submission confirmed there is no agreement at all between AP and Telangana. And 2020 Apex Council meeting discussed a dedicated Godavari tribunal, but it has not yet been constituted as such. Now, again, to revise, we have discussed last class also and talk about the Apex Council. It was created under articles under Section 84 of the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act. Same Section 84 body that governs Krishna River. So it covers Godavari utilization issues too, but has not yet produced a binding sharing formula for the river as such. Now, KRMB was created for Krishna River. On the same line, GRMB, that is Godavari River Management Board, has been created, which has agreed in principle, this management board, creation management board, was agreed in principle. It is headquartered in Hyderabad, and the Krishna one we have discussed, it is headquartered in Amravati. So full operationalization, including telemetry, has lagged behind timeline. So this is also something where step and work is needed so that this dispute can be resolved as soon as possible. Now, why it all matters? It is simply because without a tribunal award or a formal agreement, there cannot be any way how this dispute can be resolved as such. So Andhra Pradesh diversion plans proceed in a legal grey zone, as we have seen, which is exactly why Telangana is heading to the Supreme Court rather than a water tribunal. Now, we also have to understand that because this is a very large river in the peninsular India, what are the position of each of the states? So, first of all, let us look at the Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh justify its diversion project by saying that the water it is diverting in the Rayalaseema region to the south, it is the surplus flood water. It is not taking the share of any other states. It is not taking share of the dry season water of Telangana and other state. It is simply diverting the surplus excess flood water that anyway, if it is not utilized, would flow unused into the Bay of Bengal. Also, it frames Banka Chadla as productive use purposes, not taking anyone's allocated share, as Andhra Pradesh says that this project would provide water to the people of many areas, including Vijayawada. It will also provide water to the drier part of Andhra Pradesh, where farmers depend heavily on the irrigation, depends heavily on the river water for irrigation purposes and all that. Polavaram is a nationally approved project. The link is a logical extension. It says that we are not again creating some new project. We already have a Polavaram project which is approved. There is no dispute about that. We are simply diverting the water from the Polavaram project or extracting the water from Polavaram project, transferring into the other basin. And thus, because it serves the drought-hit Rayalaseema region, Visakhapatnam region, drinking water of Visakhapatnam, that's why it is very crucial for the state as such. Telangana basically it does not agree with the view of Andhra Pradesh. It says that 200 TMC, that the water that Andhra want to divert, it is too large to dismiss simply as merely surplus water. It is humongous in volume, and that's why such humongous volume water transfer cannot be done unilaterally by the state of Andhra Pradesh without looking into the interests of the other state as such. Project scope was changed. For example, when Andhra say that Polavaram is a nationally approved project, Telangana says that yes, it is a nationally approved project, but you are making a major changes in the scope of this project by causing interbasin transfer of water. Hence, the stop work order was given by the government. No formal sharing agreement exists. That's why Andhra Pradesh should not proceed. For example, it was clear that 800 TMC of water would be given to Andhra Pradesh, 600 TMC, let's suppose, water would be given to Telangana. In that case, whatever it want to do with 800 TMC, it's fine. But because there is no formal water sharing agreement, AP cannot proceed without the consent of Telangana state. Wary of repeating the 2014 Khamma Mandal pattern of bearing AP's project cost. We have seen that, we have discussed about that before. Apart from that, Odisha objects also because Polavaram linked submergence of Odisha's territory can be also expected because of the dam construction. Concerned about broader impact of large-scale diversion and basin flows that is going to significantly reduce the flow of water in the Odisha region also. Chhattisgarh also is going to be affected by the same Polavaram submergence of forest and village land, and if more and more water is diverted, then the effect can be more significant. It is not a primary party but pulled in by the project's footprint as such. So, two primary parties in this dispute is, as we can see, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Now, let us also try to understand about the project itself, which is the root cause of this entire dispute. So, if you look at this particular part of the map, this is river Godavari, as we can see, flowing into channels to the Bay of Bengal, and in the state of Andhra Pradesh, there is the proposed Polavaram, basically undergoing, construction is ongoing, Polavaram Dam as such. From this Polavaram Dam, which Andhra Pradesh says that about 200 TMC of excess surplus flood water which is flowing through can be diverted by taking it to Lingapuram region, then to Bollapalli region, and then through Nalmala forest to the Banka Chadla. This is the place that we can call about, that we have talked about, is the Banka Chadla project. It is called as Polavaram Banka Chadla link project. Basically, it is transferring the excess water of Godavari, and then you can see this is river Krishna. So the project basically transfer excess water from Godavari river to Krishna river, and then from Krishna river to Banka Chadla river. Yeah, this is the Krishna river, as you can see. This is the region that basically you can see here, this region of the Andhra Pradesh, it is called as Rayalaseema. So basically from coastal Andhra, the water would be transferred to the drought prone or arid Rayalaseema region of Andhra Pradesh as such, somewhere around Kurnool region. That is the overall project as such. Now, as far as this year is concerned, where things stand. So again, stop work order abeyance would ended on 2nd July 2026, but again extension is done. Zero formal sharing agreement. Four states are objecting or will be affected if this particular link project is allowed to commence. Bankachada link construction is ongoing because the stop work order has been suspended as such. Telangana has committed to a Supreme Court challenge and passed an assembly resolution against the project. Also, at the same time, Telangana warns that clearing AP's terms of reference before its own pending project would be a lasting disadvantage for it. And that's why it is ready to wage the fight. Parallel development has taken place in 2026. The Jal Shakti Ministry set up a high-level committee covering both Krishna and Godavari disputes. We have seen both of the states parties are same. Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, they have dispute regarding sharing of Krishna water as well as Godavari water. GRMB, that is headquartered in the Hyderabad, and the KRMB, it is headquartered in the Amravati, proposed capital of the Andhra Pradesh. Agreed in principle, telemetry installations for real-time monitoring is underway. This is going to be a significant step because without understanding and having a proper knowledge about the amount of water flowing through the Godavari, what is excess water, what is the amount of flood water, any such project would always bring friction among the states. That's why we need to have good, comprehensive and unbiased technical data if you really want to resolve this particular dispute as such. Odisha and Chhattisgarh continue to formally object to any kind of Polavaram linked submergence, whether it is related to this particular project or in the other projects. Now, question is, what are the mechanisms that are in place to settle the dispute, or what exists to settle the dispute? So, first of all, a dedicated Godavari Tribunal, you can see, formally constituting the tribunal discussed since 2020, giving Telangana AP sharing a binding legal basis. If this tribunal can be created and if it is able to provide a binding and final, we can say, basis that how and to what extent sharing would be done, then it can also bring the friction to end. Complete the technical committee review. 2026 Jal Shakti committee recommendations, if adopted in good faith, could offer an interim framework where both states can try to find and build consensus around the project as such. Operationalization of GRMB, because in principle approval just has been given, but still operationalization is pending. So again, without data, without evidences, resolving such dispute become quite challenging task. Then independent surplus water review. We have seen the dispute also is on the ground of whether 200 TMC that Andhra Pradesh claim as a surplus water, is it really the surplus water? Because that's what Telangana is not agreeing to. That's why rather than whatever data information is coming from the state government, you should have an independent surplus water review, a transparent body made up from Central Water Commission officials or Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. They can then assess the real floodwater volume and then can replace each side contested figure, bringing friction to an end. Wider multi-state forum, because again, dispute many times is just being seen from the lens of states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. The interest or the broader interest of states such as Odisha, Chhattisgarh, which are on the periphery of this dispute, should also not be ignored. Resolution needs more than AP Telangana Apex Council. We should have a larger body which can also bring the voices of these states. Why cannot we create a body which will have chief ministers from all the four states along with the union Jal Shakti minister and all? Judicial resolution obviously has been a backstop since many years whenever any dispute arises between the states as far as the sharing of water is concerned. So Telangana's pending challenge in the Supreme Court could set national terms for inter-basin transfer project if any significant this judgment is able to come from the Supreme Court as such. Now, in conclusion, we can say that the unresolved question of Godavari is basically due to the fact that it remains a river with no rule book despite affecting lives of millions of people across several states of India. Until a Godavari specific tribunal or binding agreement exists, every major project on this river risks becoming the next flashpoint between the states that share it. It is not only linked to this particularly Polavaram Banka-Chedla linkage, it can also be seen in the future whenever some new project is being commissioned either by the Maharashtra, Telangana or Andhra Pradesh. That's why this remains what you can call as the creation of a rule book by a binding agreement through a tribunal remains the biggest we can say hurdle that we have to overcome. and then maybe would be able to resolve this dispute for once and all. So that's all for this particular dispute, Godavari River dispute. We'll soon come with the next topic where we are going to discuss about the Mahanadi River dispute, largely between the states of Chhattisgarh and Odisha. Thank you.